You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your healthcare, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your healthcare while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, our family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Thursday evening to you. I am Rick Robinson, one half of the Grushies, the other half Miss Jen Homestead, and I just have to say, I fought the crud and the cruds won. I still feel like crap, but we're doing this thing anyway. I've been to the doctor, they're like bronchitis, but maybe this and maybe some of this, and I'm just like, just tell me I have Ebola and be done with it, because I'm dying.
I hope you don't have Ebola. I wouldn't like that.
Well, the good news is we're not in the same studio, so it's not contagious. Unless you can catch Ebola through Skype, so I don't know.
Well,
anyway.
you know, these things, they're just advancing them all the time.
This is true. They may have an electronic communicable version of Ebola.
It's called biological warfare, and they're figuring out how to transmit it everywhere. No.
You say they, but you really mean Skynet.
After today, I would probably say the Democrats.
Yeah, I set you up. I was hoping you were going to go there. All right, so in full disclosure, I have been playing catch up because I avoided it like the plague all day because I have a day job and I don't really want to have the customers that I deal with there hearing me scream and yell about politics because that's not what they pay me for there. That's what they pay me for here when they pay me. But so anyway, so I've been playing catch up. I have actually found a few bits and pieces. One of the things, and honestly, I don't have much of a voice, so we're probably going to hear a lot more about this from Jen, because first of all, I'm an old cranky white guy, so anybody who's listening who's not an old cranky white guy, if I start talking about what a moron these people are that are accusing him of this stuff, they're just going to assume I'm an old cranky white guy who pulled out my white privilege card, even though I'm still waiting for that bitch in the mail. But apparently that joke went over everybody's head. But anyway, back to the matter at hand. I'm actually, you know what? Because I am playing catch up, you guys get to play catch up with me. I actually have some audio that we're just going to go ahead and open with that. I think just because it's just something I think we all need to hear. This is probably the first time I think Lindsey Graham has found his spine since 1924, and he's not even that old.
At 9:23 on the night of July the 9th, the day nominated to the Supreme Court by President Trump, Senator Schumer said, 23 minutes after your nomination, I will oppose Judge Kavanaugh's nomination with everything I have. I have a bipartisan, and I hope a bipartisan majority will do the same. The stakes are simply too high for anything less. Well, if you weren't aware of it, you are now. Did you meet with Senator Dianne Feinstein on August 20th?
I did meet with Senator Feinstein.
Did you know that her staff had already recommended a lawyer to Dr. Ford?
I did not know that.
Did you know that her and her staff had this allegations for over 20 days?
I did not know that at the time.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that.
All right, so I'm going to stop it there because he goes on a little bit longer, but I want to stop there because I think, first of all, where the hell has this Lindsey Graham been all my life?
Oh my gosh. And it's not just been, obviously he peaked today with this rant, but it's been the last couple of weeks, ever since they started derailing this process, the Democrats started derailing this process, he has been absolutely unwavering. He has been bold. He has gone after media. He has called out Democrats. He has called out the delays and the, unprecedented way that they have skirted the process. He has just really been on point. And you and I both have been critical of people like him and him in particular, but like, I just could not be more proud of him at this moment. I'm happy that he found something to stand up on.
I'm guessing he must have got his, never mind. I'm going to be nice. Because for once, he's actually, you're right. It's been more than just today. But today was kind of a shining moment for me because it's the one that caught everybody's attention. But, I was going to make a joke about him getting certain parts of his anatomy back from McCain before he passed, but we won't go there. I don't know. He continues to go on, and I'm going to play just a little bit more of it because I don't think I've ever heard him as fired up as he's about to be either. And I want people to hear this in case they haven't. Go ahead.
He is legitimately angry. He is legitimately feeling for this. He is legitimately, ticked off at the Democrats and at the way that they have delayed the process. And so, and the way that they've really railroaded Kavanaugh to such a crazy degree. And it just shows he's very, through his anger is emotional about this topic, about the way that this has all gone down.
Yeah, he actually has some pretty choice things to say there here towards the end as well. So let's listen some more.
Not me. You've got nothing to apologize for. When you see Sotomayor and Kagan, tell them that Lindsey said hello, because I voted for them. I would never do to them what you've done to this guy. This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics. And if you really wanted to know the truth, you sure as hell wouldn't have done what you've done to this guy. Are you a gang rapist?
No.
I cannot imagine what you and your family have gone through. Boy, y'all want power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham, that you knew about it and you held it. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process. You came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend.
And I think that's pretty much the perfect place to leave that for now, because I going back to what you said about him seeming to have woken up over the last few weeks, that's because he's finally understanding that these people that he considered his friends are now using politics at all costs, above all else, and he can't stand for it.
Yeah, I think that they really exposed themselves here. Not just the Democrats, but the media. I mean, I have never seen the right unite so fast. I didn't know that there could be anything that could make the right unite like this. I mean, you've got rhinos, you've got never Trumpers, you've got Trumpers, you've got the people kind of in between. You've got a lot of independents and libertarians, and everyone seems to have, at a very large majority of all those demographics seem to have come together and are just angry about this. They are mad about how he's been treated. They are mad about the unsubstantiated claims. They are mad at the way that the Democrats, with the way Feinstein allowed this to go down and how it was, leaked to the media and then the media pushed it out, and how everything was just kind of completely mishandled and made this such a cluster, and to the detriment of Kavanaugh, especially, and his family, but also to the detriment of Dr. Ford. I know, everybody has their different opinions on whether she's believable or not. But let's get real. If this really was an anonymous accusation, which I have some contention with whether that's true or not, and she did not want to be in the public eye and did not want to be exposed, but just wanted to tell one person her story that might influence a vote on Kavanaugh, I guess, then she was betrayed too, and she got thrown into the middle of this circus as well. And I do feel bad for her, because even if that's not the case, and even if she full well kind of knew and wanted to disrupt this, well, they have also just crazy used her as a pawn. I know she said she's not, but it's just not true. They hooked her up with lawyers. They outed her to the press, and then the press outed her to the public. She has been used and betrayed every step of this way as well. And then he's been throttled in the press, and he's been called every name under the sun, and he's received death threats. She's received death threats. And all of this was just so grossly mishandled. I think it was highly unethical. I think it was completely unacceptable and unprofessional and unbecoming of the Senate and of this Judiciary Committee. They've just made a complete farce of the entire, confirmation process.
So here's my thing, because I want to back up to something that Graham said today in that moment that he had there, because this is the thing that I'm not sure everybody understands. There was a process that Di-Fi should have followed with that letter. There was a process that she should have followed, that she could have followed, that would have allowed the person bringing the accusations forward to remain anonymous, while at the same time bringing it to the attention of the committee, so the Democrats could have done, or had done, exactly what they say they've wanted done the entire time, which is an FBI. They wanted to reopen the background investigation, because let's be clear, they're not talking about an actual criminal investigation. They're talking about the FBI's background check on Kavanaugh. If she would have followed that process, which is pretty simple, she makes a copy of the letter, she blacks out the names and any other particulars that she doesn't want the committee to know about to make sure that the person's identity can remain anonymous, she makes copies of that letter, she distributes it to the committee before the hearing so that they have the ability to look it over and then determine whether or not they're going to ask Kavanaugh questions about this anonymous source during the confirmation hearings. She did not do that. She did not do it on purpose, because she knows there's nothing here. Even if Ford believes what she says, and I don't know whether she does or she doesn't, because let me tell you a dirty little secret about the human mind. If you tell yourself something long enough, you're going to believe it even if it's not true. That's something that you ask any psychologist, they'll tell you. It doesn't matter what it is. If you tell yourself something long enough, eventually you're going to believe it. That's why they always tell you, be careful about the things that you say and think about yourself, because you're going to eventually make yourself believe them. So she might believe with 100% veracity that he's the person that did this to her. But the point of that is, if she did believe that, then she should have first of all gone to law enforcement. She chose not to do that. She instead chose to go to the Senate. But even if she did that on good faith, thinking that the Senate would find a way to help her get justice from the guy that she thinks did all these terrible things to her all these very, very many years ago, they didn't. They used her as a political pawn. If I were her, if I really believed this, whether it's true or not, and I were her, then I would be pissed at the Democrats right now. I'm not even going to lie. I would be like, what the hell? I told you guys something I haven't told the only other person I've ever told was my therapist in 2012. You guys took this and made it a dog and pony show. Screw you. But that's one of the reasons why I don't think it's legitimate. Because somebody that has been through the type of things that she's saying she's gone through, to have had it turned into a media circus, and to have the Democrats be the one calling for the media circus when she was the one that gave them the information in the first place, I'm sorry. I just, say what you want. I'm just a cranky old white guy who's waiting on his white privilege card to come in the mail. I get that. But I don't believe her. After today, I don't. Because I watched both sides, and I have to say, I believe him. Now, again, preconceived notions, I've pretty much believed him from the beginning because the whole idea doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, all of these people that are all over social media today, well, we finally saw a glimpse of Rapey Kavanaugh. Look how mad he was when he was talking in front of the Senate. If somebody was taking your entire life apart and and was basically dissecting everything you've ever done and everything you've ever worked for. Coleman, I mean, how many kids that go to law school dream about one day sitting on the Supreme Court bench? This is something he has thought about for probably his entire life. He's finally there. He has his moment, and somebody that he doesn't know, that he even says, I don't even know the last time I would have seen her, even if I did, because we didn't run in the same circles, and she's tearing his whole life apart. I don't know about you guys, but when I feel like I'm getting screwed in my life, the last thing I do is sit down and twiddle my thumbs.
No, it's completely illogical. These people, like, we said, people are kind of confirming what they want to confirm based on what they already believe. I thought that, and let me back it up just a little bit here. I thought that Dr. Ford was pretty effective in her general statement. I thought that she seemed to be either just very unprepared and undisciplined in the questioning and in that whole process, or she was playing a game of being kind of cat and mouse about stuff, and the kind of like acting confused about pretty simple questions, and I don't understand, or I don't know how that works, and da 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 da. All of that happening either was a lack of preparedness on her attorney's part in helping her, or it was, otherwise, if that's just really how she was, and they did spend a lot of time prepping her for this, then that, they failed her, and or she's just really not even close to as bright as they think she might be. Or like I said, it was a game. But I think that there were a lot of aspects to it that, appealed to a lot of people. It was somewhat effective, kind of playing meek and timid and like, oh my gosh, I just want to please, and I'm sorry, and I don't understand that question, and I don't really know how to answer that. And she didn't, other than a very specific part of the testimony, she didn't sit there and do what I think some people kind of expected her to do, which was completely tear Kavanaugh apart. She kept very specifically to what is her supposed knowledge of him pertaining to that one very specific situation. And she didn't try to go off on anything else, and she didn't talk about the other allegations, and which I think was smart. And so for people that are already leaning on her side, I think that it was a job well done for them. That's what they're gonna see. I think that they saw some emotion, her voice kind of shaking, and I saw some stuff on Twitter and everything where people were like, you can't fake this. And I'm like, yeah, I can do it anytime at the drop of a hat, but I'm not going to go there with that. But especially when your nerves are running high, your heart's beating fast, your adrenaline's pumping, and you're quite frankly pretty scared, because that's intimidating, no matter who you are, to go in front of a the Senate Judiciary Committee like that and know you're going to be on national TV and all of these things. So even I think there are a lot of really normally confident people, and maybe even not talking about such a sensitive subject or such a high profile subject, that would be a little bit shaky and kind of quivery and or at least could get there very easily. And so I don't know that that's totally indicative of anything in and of itself. But like I said, for the people that already are leaning to believe her, I think that she reinforced what they believed. For those of us, or for not just those of us, but for people that were likely to believe Kavanaugh, I think that there were a couple things that going into this needed to happen. Number one, everyone was saying on social media and even on the cable news shows and everything that he can't be, which this is where we get into the hypocrisy of the media. If he wants to save his neck here, and if he wants to get this, get confirmed, then, and if he wants to salvage his own reputation, then he was going to have to come out bold. He was going to have to do better than what he did in that interview on Fox News with Martha McCallum the other day. That he was going to have to be stronger. He was going to have to be more adamant. He needed to be more passionate. He needed to be more emotional, which, by the way, I thought that was a little bit of a strange critique, because he was fairly emotional in that interview, but no matter. And so he came out and people said if he didn't do that, if he kind of acted like the guy who he was during the during the hearing process, which was, polite, and, he just kind of answered the questions and didn't really push back on anything and nodded and said, yes, sir, and thank you, ma'am, and whatever. And if he didn't, kind of come out and really sell his side and really state his case in a convincing way and in a passionate way, then he would be toast. And I think that they were right. And what happened today, and everyone was kind of crossing their fingers that were rooting for him, was everyone was kind of crossing their fingers he would have a Clarence Thomas moment. He didn't have a Clarence Thomas moment. He had a damn Clarence Thomas 15 minutes. I mean, he came out, his statement, it went from high to low in emotion. It had anger, it had sadness, it had almost a little bit of despair. Like, how could this possibly be happening like this? And he nailed all of the points he knew the committee was going to ask him. He talked about the FBI investigation, how many times he's already been investigated, what else could be done there. He talked about a bunch of the little things, including some of the claims from Avenatti that were just ridiculous. He nailed some of the stuff about the drinking. He nailed some of the stuff about people that he knew or didn't know. He nailed things about his calendar. He went through and actually, did a step-by-step kind of walkthrough of every claim that's been thrown at him. And that, I think that's part of the reason that the Democrats had a little bit of a hard time questioning him, was because he'd already answered them all. And what were they going to say now? So they resorted to, talking about other words for fart in the yearbook, and how someone says the F word, and, what does this drinking game mean? And to just hounding over and over and over. They've all kept repeating over and over and over about the FBI investigation and why don't you call for it? You could call for it. And they know full well that's not true. And they also know full well that it's not a criminal investigation. So I think for a lot of people on Kavanaugh's side, he came out guns a-blazing. Then he also was heart-wrenching, and he seemed very believable, and he seemed very sympathetic to those that were already, and he was effective in his testimony to those that were already going to go for him. And I don't think there were a ton of minds changed. I did see some, but for the most part, people were solidly in one camp, and they're still solidly in one camp.
Yeah, but we were talking about that a little bit off the air before we started. I'm not sure how in the hell people can be watching the same thing and see things so completely differently. As an example, now I just want to prepare you for this. This is from the Associated Press. This is not an opinion piece. This is actually from the AP. This is their little piece in response to the hearing today. He let his anger flare, interrupted his questioners, and wept. She sought to present herself as cooperative and respectful. The Kavanaugh-Ford hearing provided a tutorial on gender roles and stereotypes. That is not an opinion piece, ladies and gentlemen. That's a headline from the AP. Kavanaugh-Ford hearing, a dramatic lesson on gender roles.
Oh, this is just so ridiculous. If he had sat there and been stoic and had not pled his case in the passionate way in which he did, they would have been saying that he's a robot and he's emotionless, and obviously he doesn't really care, or he doesn't have any sort of sympathy for his family, or he doesn't have any sort of basically they would have just gutted him over that too. He was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. I think what he put out there was true and was raw. I think what Dr. Ford did may have been also, it seemed a little more contrived at times to me. There were not actual tears. It didn't ever look like, but that doesn't mean that something, I'm not saying that to say that doesn't mean that something didn't happen to her. I do think that she's mistaken that it was Brett Kavanaugh, but just the difference in the way that they approached it, and then how news was reporting on it as she was going. Everything was about her being so brave and so wonderful and honest, and oh my gosh, she's terrified. Look at her, feel sorry for her, and everything was just very, very favorable, including, by the way, the tone of the prosecutor, Rachel Miller. Her tone was much more kind of soft, almost like, it's okay, we're just having a conversation. Would this be true? Okay, well, let me just clarify this real quick. Okay, correct me if I'm, oh, okay, does that, I mean, just the tone and kind of the way she approached the questions, which I thought was fine. I thought that was fine to do. I didn't think that it would do any good to go attacking this woman when so many people are absolutely incredulous that she's not being believed. I didn't think that anything would really be gained. I wanted them to hit some points a little bit hard, but I didn't think anything would really be gained from like outright attacking her and calling her a liar. Even for people that maybe were on the fence about her, that was not going to come off well. It never does when that happens, particularly when it's a woman in a vulnerable situation like this, claiming to have been sexually assaulted. It's just not going to be a win for optics at all if they did that. So, but all the Democratic senators, all they did was basically grandstand and back pat her and back pat themselves, and it was just really vomit worthy. And the tone just shifted so much, and they kept saying, well, this isn't a trial, this isn't a criminal proceeding, so basically like you're not due the same things that would be due to you as the accused, as a defendant in a trial. Yet when they got him up there, they sure did treat him like he was on trial. They sure did go after him very harshly. Their tone was accusatory, disbelieving. They finger wagged, and they asked him things that they knew were not up to him. They tried to put things on him knowing full well that they are not up to him. And I think just the way that it all shifted in the tone of it, and I thought he held his own pretty well. I think he was a little bit wishy-washy here and there, and I wish he would have been a little bit more direct with some of that. But I also think that he'd probably been instructed not to be, because they were trying to trap him, obviously. But I think that he accomplished what he needed to, and I think that if anyone couldn't see the tone shift, and then still talk about fairness and talk about who's reacting correctly, I mean, give me a freaking break.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you just said. On that note, we should probably pay some bills. We're up against a break. This is the Jen and Rick Show. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810. Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Alright, folks, welcome back. This is JandR Nick. We're live right now on KLRNradio.com, where liberty and reason still reign for now, because apparently the leftists have gone nuts. I don't know how we come back from this, because, I really don't understand how we have complete segments of the population that can be watching the same thing at exactly the same time and see something completely different just because of their preconceived ideas.
Yeah, and I guess I understand it coming from your everyday folk. I really don't understand it coming from, or so openly and blatantly coming from so much of the media. I understand it because they've just leaned more and more towards just being, partisan hacks. But in general, I'm saying that's just, it's like, what? Like, this isn't your personal Twitter account. What are you doing?
Well, I don't know. So many people forget they're not on their personal Twitter accounts, one of which we were just speaking about privately. Maybe they're just losing track of where they are. I don't know.
I think that so many of them, when you're a journalist, like you might get to have a private Facebook page for just your family and friends, but like you don't get to have a private Twitter. You don't get to have one that's separate and says my tweets are my own. No, you're using your Twitter for your journalism on a regular basis, and so then you can limit about music and pictures of your dog, and so you can use it in a personal way in that way. But when you start taking political stances on those Twitters, people are going to start they get mad. They're going to hold you accountable because it looks like they click on your bio and it looks like New York Times reporter is now saying something completely and utterly biased. So now the next time that you post an article, how do I even remotely know to trust you? And that's been building obviously for forever. But I think they were just so exposed in the last 10 days since all of this started. I think that it became so much more apparent, even to a portion of the right that has been, kind of leaning towards benefit of the doubt for a lot of members of the left and especially members of the media who have not really taken into the whole like attack the media 24/7 thing. Who have not been as willing to kind of just get involved in all of that back and forth and calling out and a lot of what can sometimes be pretty disrespectful behavior. I don't know, like they're like a little more civilized about it, I guess. And then same thing with like Never Trump, Rhino, and then sliding down into like, reluctant Trump supporters and to full-blown Trump supporters. I think I think that the journalists this week, the media, the coverage, I think they just really exposed themselves so greatly that it just couldn't even be denied. And the outlandish claims and no corroboration, it just brought everyone together and opened a bunch of eyes, I think, too, but brought everyone together in a way that we have not seen in a very long time on the right. And I think that could be very dangerous and an unforeseen side effect and very dangerous for the Democrats in the future.
Well, I'm a little concerned, and I'm going to tell you why. Yeah, for the first time since I don't remember when, pretty much anybody that believes themselves to be conservative is united in this one moment. What I'm afraid of is it's either going to be too little too late and they're going to bail on Kavanaugh, which will probably lead to open revolt at the polls, and there will not be a blue wave, or we unite, the people that are up for election realize they better vote the way their constituents want them to vote. Kavanaugh gets confirmed. I've seen two different numbers, 51-49, and I think there was another person who actually said it was going to be like 53-47. But what I'm concerned about is if the appointment happens, I'm afraid we're going to lose momentum. And I'm not saying I don't want Kavanaugh confirmed by any stretch of the imagination, so please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Kavanaugh is the right person for the job at this time, because I believe whether you realize it or not, he's not the right-wing zealot the left is making him out to be. He's somebody that understands his role and he stays in his lane. That's what we need. Yeah. He is not an outspoken, an activist. He's not. He's very, for lack of a better word, he's pretty milquetoast here. But see, they got so up in arms over this misreading of a few things about him on Roe v. Wade. And honestly, guys, that's what this all comes back to. Part of it is Trump. Yes, of course. Part of it's the midterms, and then it's abortion. And it's tipping the courts. So you've got, kind of four factors here, but it really started to ramp up early on when he was announced because of abortion, and they will do anything to protect that. I do agree with you that I think that if he does get confirmed, the Dems are motivated to go to the polls. If he doesn't get confirmed, the Republicans are motivated to go to the polls. I think, though, that and I've seen some pretty grim predictions about all of that. I do think that the Democrats will be highly motivated to go, but I think they're overstating it a little bit too. They really think that they can get like a 75% women's vote turnout for them, not just turned out, but for them, if he's not confirmed. And there have been so many issues over the years where it has been the case that this is what's going to drive women there this time. This is what's going to get the suburban mom there this time. This is what's going to make all that happen this time. And it just hasn't really come to fruition. So I'm just not quite sure that it's going to be as much as they say. And then also, I do think that there will be a good enough a good enough chunk of the right that was unmotivated for the polls, but is now motivated because of this absolute disaster of a confirmation process for Kavanaugh, that even if he does get confirmed, I think that there will be a good chunk of people that were not voting before that will definitely show up because the left has showed who they are, and I think some of these people finally believe them.
and have indicated that they will not forget this, even if Kavanaugh goes through. Of course, we also know that we have another 2 or 3 years of them screaming about that and about every decision that makes while he's on the court being illegitimate because he is a rapist and shouldn't be there. That'll always be there. And that'll continue keeping people mad. But I do think that there's a large group of people that will turn up because, like Lindsey Graham said in his lethal speech against the Democrats, boy, you all want power, and God, I hope you never get it.
Yeah, I have to agree. So just for fun, I figured I'd open up the Kavanaugh hearings hashtag and see what kind of mixed results we're getting over there.
Oh, no.
The most prominent one that's at the top of the list is from @EricReedGRAA. I must have fallen asleep during the hearings because I missed a single shred of evidence. Please enlighten me. Then, of course, we have John Ziegler. After watching Kavanaugh hearings all day, here's my brand new column of which I can absolutely guarantee at least 2 things. 1, you will not read another analysis remotely like it. No one can even credibly claim that I am not open-minded. And then the column title is actually Kavanaugh convinced me of his innocence, but he may have disqualified himself in the process. So, yeah, you're unbiased, but you're admitting that this was all a sham, but that he may have disqualified himself at the same time. So I'm not exactly sure how that means that you're some saint or something.
Yeah, I don't get that either. That doesn't make sense to me. Well, I really liked, who was it? Shoot, here, just a second. I'm trying to find it. I had saved a couple tweets. So kind of going back to the anger thing, Jedediah Bila had said, to those lecturing on how Kavanaugh seems so angry, I invite you to be accused without evidence or corroboration of gang rape and assault you completely deny. Watch those allegations paint you as a monster through media and threaten to derail your entire life. And let's see how angry you get. And let's remember too, and Senator Graham pointed it out. A couple other people, I think Senator Sass pointed it out. Maybe it was Cruz. That the people that are dismissing this is it's just a job interview. He's not entitled to the job, blah, 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 blah. It's not just a job interview at this point. If he just didn't get confirmed based on all the previous hearings when that actually wrapped up when it did, if that's all that had come of it and that was the only place it was, where it was left, then I would agree. It's a job interview. He's not entitled to the position. They're allowed to reject him in a respectable way that would allow him to stay, on the DC circuit and not have a, terrible impact on his career, the same as it didn't for Garland. But that's not the case here. Now he has been accused of multiple horrendous criminal activities, and that is forever life-changing. Stand up and basically say, we don't believe that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm shaking my head because I'm reading through all the different comments, and it's a hodgepodge of positive, negative. There's people that believe Ford. There's people that believe Kavanaugh. I'm just like, here's the thing. If you take all of that out of the equation, you take the who you believe, who you side with. Here's the problem that I have. He's being accused of a crime of which they have provided absolutely zero evidence that the crime has even occurred, or if it did occur, that he was even there when it did happen. So that's my problem, and this is one of the things that we talked about in the beginning of the show. They have shifted the narrative so much on the left because it's not about the truth anymore. It's about that person's truth. How dare you say that person can't use this specific bathroom because you're stifling their truth because that's how they feel on the inside. How dare you say that what she's saying can't be proven in a court of law because it's still her truth. But this is the problem. You can't let an unfounded, unproven accusation completely destroy somebody's life just because you feel bad because somebody stood up and said he touched me 37 years ago. Fine, please show me one shred of proof. Just one. That's all I needed. I would have been at your side fighting with you. I'm saying that as a libertarian, as someone who leans conservative. I am telling you that if you had provided just one shred of proof that it was him, I would have been screaming with you, not at you. But you haven't been able to do that. We have to use logic when we're making these type of decisions. Everything cannot be emotionally based. If we leave everything in the realm of emotion, eventually we're going to implode.
Well, absolutely. And the other thing is that we don't get to just say, and I kind of, I said this before about like, oh, well, okay, too bad he doesn't get this and he just goes back to a normal life. No, if this is what they think is true and they do not confirm it on it, then, I expect that they should follow forward and follow through and, start figuring out about an investigation and file for impeachment, because how can you say that he's not good? They have acted like whatever about the other courts, but you can't say that he's not good enough for the Supreme Court, but it's totally fine for him to sit on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. That is a major circuit that has lasting impact over, tons more cases than the Supreme Court does. And his rulings have been upheld in the Supreme Court 13 times. There are federal circuit court judges that never have a ruling upheld in the Supreme Court. That's how prominent this circuit is. So to say that he is good enough for that, but not good for the Supreme Court is just completely preposterous.
It's all dumb, and that's the thing that I don't think anybody understands. He's already been through this process. They go through a very similar process when they're appointed to the D.C. Court of Appeals, because it's the D.C. Court of Appeals.
Of course.
This hasn't come up.
Of course, and acting like that's not the case, it's just, this is true. It will ruin his entire life. And like, he provided today, or like he said today, it's going to come down to things like he may, never get to teach again. And he has taught at Harvard, for years. He may never get to teach again. Think about that. He has taught at Harvard, and he was hired by Kagan, a liberal justice currently on the Supreme Court. It's just, and it's so annoying. But he may never get to coach basketball again. That it has like utterly stained him in the public and personal realms of his life. And if they don't confirm, which would be a pretty harsh rejection of the claims and a vote of confidence in his innocence, then then all of that stays tainted. I know there will be the crazy liberals that will constantly call him the rapey justice or whatever. Anyways, if he does get confirmed, but it would really go a long way to not just get him the Supreme Court job, but actually salvage a semblance of his life.
Yeah, so I completely agree. Actually, I hadn't heard all that stuff about him maybe not being able to teach or anything anymore, but that's another reason why, for anybody who doesn't understand why he was maybe a little bit angry today, there's a pretty good explanation. So this I thought was interesting. I don't see where this came from, but it's somebody that put together a meme. It says, interesting to see so many congressmen upset about a decades-old fake sexual misconduct allegation, especially since over 17 million taxpayer dollars have been used as hush money to cover up congressional sexual assaults.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Maybe just make that a little bit more prominent.
I don't know. I think I probably would have led with that. For all you people that are throwing a fit over these things that he's been accused of, how many of you have used the hush funds money to make your stuff go away? Just asking. And again, glass houses, stones. I get it. I'm not perfect. I've done things that I have people right now that I consider really good friends, and I'm afraid if some of the things came out that I did when I was younger, they probably wouldn't talk to me anymore. But that's the joys of being younger and eventually getting to grow older, because you learn from your mistakes. And it wasn't anything this crazy, but there are still things that I did in my past that I'm not happy about, that I'm not proud of. I'm sure we all have those moments. I mean, I actually saw this from G, who does a show with us here, the conservative curmudgeon radio show. He actually tweeted out today, if I got in trouble for half the things 17-year-old me did now today, I probably wouldn't, it would just be terrible. Because we do dumb stuff when we're kids. That's kind of the point of being a kid. I mean,
Absolutely.
And I'm not excusing what has happened here or hasn't happened here, but what I'm saying is there was a process that should have been followed, and the two people that should be mad at the Democrats right now are Kavanaugh and Ford. Because if she had done her job, if Di-Fi had done her job and showed that memo or that letter, made it a memo, turned it into the committee, let them look at it, have them ask questions, then this could have been dealt with in the way that it should have been dealt with to begin with. But it wasn't, because she held it as an 11th hour hat trick, all in the hopes of stalling us till Monday. Because here's the thing nobody's telling you, folks. If they don't get him confirmed before Monday, when session starts, they're done till session ends. They can't put anybody else up there. That's why this came down to the last second. That's why they were hoping to stall just a little bit more. That's why everybody on the D side is, but just bring the FBI back in and let them do the background. Because the one thing that I will say, Lindsey Graham got 1 point wrong. They're not hoping for 2020. Well, they are, but what they're hoping is that they win the midterms here in a couple of months. Because if they do that, then they can block anybody that Donald Trump tries to put up if they retake the Senate. And that's what they're hoping they're going to be able to do. The thing that scares me... hang on just 1 second. Go ahead. The thing that scares me about all of that is if you look at how things typically work for the midterms, for the folks that are in power, there's a really good chance they're going to get a shot at what they're talking about doing, no matter what happens with this vote. And we need to remember that, because I don't care who you are, what you say you stand for. If you can still vote Democrat after this nightmare, I'm not sure I ever knew you.
Yeah, no, and I think that's where there is, I think that is another place where there's been kind of a shift, and where there are a lot of people that either had said they were leaving completely, the party completely, would never vote it again, yet not until Trump's gone, would vote Democrat in order to punish Trump and to whatever, save the Republican Party, all that nonsense. And it's not, I think I know myself, I have seen a lot of people that have shifted back to this, like, no, the only way you can vote is for Republicans to vote against Democrats. And not that there's still not a value in some people voting third party or whatever, but a lot of people have been turned off from doing that because they just simply cannot fathom the Democrats ever having power again. After all of this, it's just been so ugly, so nasty, so obviously political and partisan. And it's just really, turned people in a way that I haven't seen in a very long time.
Yeah, I really honestly, I hope that I'm reading the room right, so to speak, because I have a feeling that all of this is going to blow up very, very badly for the Democrats. Because, it's like you said, it's one thing to think the media is biased, but when they start openly showing it, when the AP, of all places, is putting out what should be considered an opinion piece as an actual news piece about the hearings today, that should tell you one thing. But anyway, we are just about out of time, so why don't you remind folks where it is that they can hang out with you when you're not on the air hanging out with me?
Yeah, let me say one last thing real quick. So sure. My other last point is that, and several others have made it too, is that it would be terrible, and this is what we've seen a little bit with the media and with Democrats, to basically convict Kavanaugh in the court of public opinion because you think that it's about time that all of those elitist, privileged white frat boys that everyone knew one that they thought was a jerk, to punish them for the collective guilt of any of the bad ones in the past and hang it around Kavanaugh's neck and then pat yourself on the back and say, now I feel better, because at least we got one. Whether he was really guilty or not, at least we got him. And that is a terrible and dangerous precedent to set. But anyways, other than that, I am at Jay Homestead on Twitter and Misfits Politics on Twitter, and check out misfitspolitics.com.
All right, and of course you can follow along with me at RowdyRick73 on Twitter, Rick Robinson on Facebook, and you can shoot me an email at rick@klrnradio.com. Or if you, I actually will be starting a local project here pretty soon. Not giving out the name yet because I want it to be a surprise, plus I haven't started working on the graphic. But if you want to shoot me any information or questions about that, you can feel free to email me as well to the more unassigned email, which is radiofreerick@gmail.com. On that note, folks, we are back around at the top of the hour. We have got to go, because my medicine is starting to wear off, and I need to get my butt back to bed before I turn into a pumpkin. Anyway. All right, we will see you guys. I will probably do a solo show tomorrow night because Dan needs another night off. If I am able to pull it off, depending on my voice, it probably won't be until about an hour after the normal time slot, because I have a football game tomorrow night. But I promised Dan I'd try to pick up some of the slack while he was working. So I'll do my best to talk to you guys tomorrow night, and we will see you later. Enjoy your weekend after we get through Friday. We're almost there. One more day. We can do this. Take care, guys.